Good afternoon, everyone, and let's start the session. Now, for today's session, I got some questions over here. I'm going to cover these all the queries which you asked to make this forum more interactive and informative. In the informative topics, the list which I'm having in front of me, that is, what is domain name, why do we need it, then how to make your own domain, how to create your own web server and host your own website, why do we need a web hosting and control panel and all. And then there are some technical topics to cover. So let us start one by one manner, and in the meantime, if you have any queries, you can also ask me during the sessions, and I will try to give you the entire informative things about that particular topic or the question which you raised. So let us start the proceedings with the first question. What is domain name and why do we need it? Now, you guys know about one thing. Whenever you are trying to make any website live, right? So it is obvious to identify that web or web location. We need to name it. For example, my company's website having a name called as axiomtechguru.com, right? So domain name means a name by which you are recognizing, you are identifying that website. Now website means by using www route, World Wide Web route, every user throughout the globe can able to connect himself to that web location and access and process the web info which is uploaded onto the server, right? So instead of domain name, one can say technically it's a server name of the server where that web is hosted, right? So if you are planning to have any business, whether it's a e-commerce business, whether it's a organizational site, whether you are going for educational site or any purpose, up till now you might have understood the importance of web. Web is a virtual directory where entire information about that business, that site is available, and that is going to host on particular web server. I can understand the intentions of asking this question. It means if you want to create a website for some reasons, maybe you want to develop your own tutorials, maybe you want to perform e-commerce, certain services you want to provide. So the first thing, just like you are naming your house or you are naming any individual by to identify that individual or the house or a street or a city, by their unique name. In the similar manner, your services, your web need to be named each, right? So it has to be the unique name. Now it is tough for anyone to locate that web server by the IP address 192.168.11 means like, and at the same time these IP addresses, internet protocol addresses by which you can able to establish connectivity from the web client to web server. Every server having their own unique IP address, but it's tough for the user to know that web IP address. So instead, as a website owner, you need to register a domain, right? Mostly it's a company name or it's organizational name, xyz.com, tcs.com, like whatever name you want. You have to cross check whether that name is already taken or not. So it's a nomenclature given by the web owner to its website. So you have to check firstly from the hosting server provider's site whether that name you are planning to give it to that website is available or not. And if it is available, they are taking certain charges, right? Just try to understand this web business. Just like in the newspaper owners are selling their space for the advertisement or for some other reasons. They are selling the space of from that particular newspaper. Television is selling the time for advertisement, right? In the similar manner, web servers or hosting service provider servers is going to sell you the memory space on their server to pirate, to host your website. So they'll be charging yearly charges from you, right? So depend on the memory space you required, what kind of technologies you are using to develop that particular website or web domain, right? So on that basis, depend on the memory size, the database and the toolkits you are using, they are charging you yearly. So as a web developer, you have to develop a web virtual directory and then you need to pirate it to make it accessible throughout the world on that web server. And I already explained you, first of all, you have to go with the domain name, unique name to identify that particular website, right? So in this manner, you can go with the domain name. So hope you understand what is domain name means and why do you need it. Domain name means the name of that particular website, and why we need it, because it's a unique name to identify that particular web services you are pirating or you're hosting on any web server. On any, as I said, on any web services provider website, you have to go and type the name for the availability, right? And if it is available, obviously, you need to check. Like right now, any way, GoDaddy or anything, or if you type domain name also, you will be redirected to the hosting service provider's website, and then they will ask you to type the domain name and then check the availability. So it is depend on your business, whether it's a .com, .org, right, .co.in. So that is depend on you. So first of all, you have to check the availability of the domain name, and then if it is available, then they will give you the charges to avail that domain name, right? That is what exactly called as domain name. And then how to make your own domain, that I just recently told you, that first of all you check the availability of the name from any service provider's website. You type your name and the like kind of extension. Com stand for commerce, org stand for organizational site, co.in company India, sort of. So these service as I told you, these web hosting service providers are selling the availability of the domain worldwide. Your domain name has to be the unique one. It should not be duplicatable, right? So you have to, just like you while create, you check the availability of the email ID in the similar manner, and then you take it over there, or you can use certain combinations to have a uniqueness if it is already exists. In the similar manner, if you want to create a domain name for your web application also, you have to go to the hosting service providers websites and check whether that domain name is exists or not, right? And as per the preferences, if it is available, then you have to pay the charges. Then that domain name will be booked by your name. They will ask you certain details of yours, and then that domain name, once you pay it, that domain name will be they will make you available, right? This is about the name of that particular website. Then the third question is, how can we create our own web server and host our own website? Now just understand one thing. Our own web server means, like, okay, yeah, probably you can have your own web server also, or on your now what is the difference between the web server and the website, right? Now website means actually on that particular server there are they are giving you the some space on that server. So there on that particular server there may be many sites, okay, common space sort of, okay. Just like the difference between you are having your own house, individual house, and you are having your your flat in the scheme, right? So you can have you have a website in the public sharing also. Some space you buy. So they in this similar manner they are actually selling space to others as well, right? Group sharing, right? Common sharing, shareable websites, memory space. That is one thing about the website. And if you want to have a dedicated server, that also you can get, right? But obviously it will be costly, right? At the same time, it will be dedicated only for you, right? So that is where you can even the motive the way is the same. You have to go for the hosting service providers, right? So in case of web, what is internet? It's a server to server connectivity to make that services available throughout the web, throughout the world. So in the similar manner, these web service hosting providers develop their own services or servers to sell their memory space. So you can have your own server also. At the same time, you can pirate your website on the public sharing as well, on the sharing basis. So hope you understand the difference between the having your own web server and have your pirate like having your own website, right? So on that web server or on that website, the virtual data you can you can upload, you can host, and then in that manner by using HTTP protocol suite, people can type the domain name something.com or something.org, whatever, and then they can able to view that all the contents available in that website or the web server. So as a web developer, you have to develop that home pages, login, registered, or whatever the pages, and the view and backend code and the database. And this entire things you need to upload, you need to host onto the memory space by buying a domain name and a web server memory space. And you need to just like the way you are making your servers available on the local, whether it's a jam server, whether it's any other servers, in a similar manner these hosting service providers will provide you the virtual servers to you to pirate, to host, to publish your website on that web server or the website. And in this manner, in that HTTP route, that like locally you are using your local server, local host. Whenever you pirate that and create a virtual directory and publish it, it will be available on the HTTP route as well, right? So hope you understand the difference between the having web server, website, and I hope you got some conceptualizations about how you can create your own domain name, how you can create your own web services and publish onto the websites. Obviously, these hosting service providers will provide you the assistance, okay, provide you the interface by which you can upload, host your all the web contents on their web server. Okay, now going to the next question. Why do we need a web hosting providers? Obviously, without web hosting provider, how you can able to publish? Like let's say for example, if you want to publish certain information onto the in a paper, so that like any advertisement of your business and any detailed informations about your business or any organization on the newspapers. So newspapers, it is not possible to own the newspaper by you. So what you can do, you can go to the local newspaper office and pay them, and on that basis they can your advertisement they can give it to their newspapers, and in this manner the users or the public persons can able to read that newspaper and advertisements, and you can reach to the users. In the similar manners, the radio, the television, in the similar manner the web. So it is not possible for for you to develop a business at the same time having a because these hosting service providers, they are doing their own business, just like the newspaper, radio, FM, the televisions, right? Or the Z and the Sony and all these stuff. We are talking about the televisions. What they're doing actually, they are giving you the popular webs what I can say, the movies and all. They can show you serials and all, and then they can attract the advertisers, right? And to sell the memory, sell the time actually. Okay, so newspaper sells the space, web hosting providers sells the memory space, your radio, your televisions sells the time. In this manner they can earn, that their business, right? So hope you understand it now about the hosting providers. Hosting providers are actually the service providers which provide the services to host their applications onto the server or the website, right? Then the next question someone asked, that is about what is the Cpanel? How does it work? Cpanel means it's a it's a program, it's an application, right? It's a company name, Cpanel, control abbreviated for control panel. So they provide you the interface by which you can upload your web contents onto the server. There are many other tools like a FileZilla, right? And many other things are there which can be used. So control panel, Cpanel, is an application program by which the local design website you can able to connect with the web server, and then you can able to upload over there. How it works? Obviously, it's a software. Okay, so you have to get a login and login credentials. Like if you buy memory space for GoDaddy. Then they will provide you the credentials, and by that credential you can log in into it, and then you can upload the credential. Means like it's a virtual file management programs, database management programs they can able to provide you. So they have their own interface, right? They can provide you the assistance as well, but it's a very easy interface to just like the useful for uploading your files onto the web server and get it published, right? So hope you all get this all idea clear about the domain name, what is domain name, okay, how to create the web server, website, hosting service providers, and what is control panel. Not it's not only the Cpanel, there are many other popular applications are there by which you can host your websites onto the web server. So hopefully there is no questions on these informative topics, right? If you have, you can interrupt me so that I can answer. Otherwise, I'll go to the technical sessions. So do you have any questions on this, guys? Okay, so let us move to the next technical topic. Technical topic is not, it's a basic elementary topics what I am getting in front of me. That is, what is an array? Okay, so let us discuss what is an array. Now, whenever you are saying array means a set, right? If you want to make a set of something, okay, then you have to go for the array. Just I'll define this. A set of similar type of data having respective locations in the memory, and that is an array. Means, for example, means like if you have an one integer value, you can able to store only one element in it. But let us understand, you want to make a set of, okay, a collection of 10, 100, 1000, then it become an array. For example, integer a, it's a single integer variable, you can able to store only single integer value in it. But if you go with the integer a of 10, right? So now in the memory, the compiler will allocate the memory like this. A of, right, array subscript always starts with 0, a of 1. Just like here, you have your own house. Now you are having an apartment where 10 people can stay there, right? 10 families can stay there. So it's an array collection. So you can have a compartments like a of 0, maybe the flat 1, flat 2, likewise. Okay. So whatever the array size, -1 will be the last, because if array element and array subscript starts with 0, so last will be the size is 10, size -1. So that is what is called an array. So you can form an array of integer, array of all type, float, right? Array of user defined types also. If you have a structure, array of student, you can form. If provided student is a structure, array of object you can generate if there is a class. And if you want to create a array of an objects, you can able to create it. So in simple way, what is array? Array is a set. Set means collection. If you want to declare more than one elements you want to store in one data type, right? Then you can go for an array. So hope you understand it. Now what is the advantage of array? If you not go for array, then you have to define n number of variables, and you cannot set the loop for that, right? So the allocating memory as well as retrieving that data become a lengthy process. So instead of that, if you declare an array, you can set up a loop from 0 to array length, and you can enter the data, you can retrieve the data, you can process the data faster, and that is what advantage you will get in an array. Hope you got me. Now the next is object oriented programming structure, right? Now in programming there are two programming approaches. One is procedure oriented programming, called as structure oriented programming. Now structure oriented programming means everything you have to define in main, right? Main is a process, and then actually in structure oriented programming the main process divided into various sub process. Sub process means functions. Maybe this is function 1, this is function 2, this is function 3, and this is your main function. Now functions means a process. Every process requires a data, right? Every function having its own objectives. Now these main function and the sub functions are in the different scope, right? So they cannot exchange their data, they have their own respective data. So to make that data accessible in all the functions and the procedures in structure oriented programming, we have to provide this global data, so that all this data will be available in the main as well as in all the functions. And this becomes the structure of the structure and procedural programming, what we are discussing about structure orient. Yeah, go ahead please. Right. Perfect. Okay, now as you rightly said, yeah, you are asking question bit late, but anyway, no worries. The thing is, in array, if it is an integer or any other array apart from string, okay, so the size become size of an array. Like let's say 10 is the size. So what I said, you can identify the last subscript by you can identify the last subscript by that by that subscript number. The last element is available with will be 9 position over there, right? So in case of numeric data, means like I understand your question. Why in the string the last character will be the null character? Is it like that? Yeah. The thing is, if imagine the size of the string is 10 character, name of 10. So now what happened, that you will get the collection of 10 characters, but what will happen if you give only the 3 characters to it? Are you getting me? So name of 0 will store A, name of 1 will store B, name of 2 will store C, and name of 3 will store a null character. Are you getting me? Yeah, because size is 10, but you are not assigning the size to the last character will be the null character. Yeah, absolutely. And like in rest different arrays, okay, if you not allocate any data, then it will consider as a 0, right? So that is the reason why in case of strings your last character will be terminated by null character, because here only 3 characters you assign, the size is 10, so almost 7 characters, your 7 memory spaces you are not utilizing, right? So it will be considered up to the null character only. Hope you got the elaboration, right? Okay, yeah. So now get back to the structure oriented programming. In case of structure oriented programming, as I just explained you, this is the structure what we are having. We are having a main, we are having the various functions, and we are importing the data from various functions and processing them, because the motive behind developing function is to process the data. But every function requires the data to process. So that data most of the time in case of structure oriented programming will be accessed from the global positions, global locations. So it won't be able to provide the data security. Try and understand one point, that you are writing a program for processing data. So data processing and data is become a vital entity. But in case of structure and procedural programming, the motive is of a logic, not of a, we are not emphasizing, we are not focusing onto the data, and hence it become a data insecure solutions in case of procedural oriented programming. And to avoid that, to whatever the limitation, it was like this is the programming approach what we are following in the 70s and 80s, late 70s and early 80s, right? So then they'll recommend, as I already explained you, that procedural oriented programming, object oriented programming, these are the approach of writing programs, how we can write the programs. You can solve the programs, you can solve the problems by procedural oriented programming and structural oriented programming approach as well, but it leads to the data insecure solutions. Reusability is not there, and there are many more limitations are there. To overcome that all the limitations, they recommend to go with the object oriented programming. Now object oriented programming means, instead of writing a structure like this, they'll recommend, right, instead of writing main and all, they recommend to define a class. And while defining class, you need to make the collection of two things. Why there is data and the functions you are keeping in the different scope? Why not you encapsulate data and its related all the functions together, and define at the class, and in this manner class become a data type of an object. And then in main, there is only one main over there, all the functions, or you can even that capsulate that main also in the class, right? So in the main you have to just create the object and then refer these all the functions, right? And these functions are referring to this private data and get the result. So this approach is called the object oriented programming approach, which provides the data secure solution, reusability, right, inheritance, encapsulations, abstraction, and so many features are there. And by that the entire programming architecture becomes secure, and hence it is recommended that in recent programming languages we have to follow the approach of OOP, object oriented programming. Hope you understand it, right? Then the next question was related to the sorting. Now sorting is a technique by which you can arrange the data in an ascending or descending order. If it is an array is a collection of data, right? So that collected data, might not be following the sequence. Any element you can able to add anywhere else. Now you want to arrange the data in the ascending or descending order. Then these sorting algorithms, there are various algorithms are there in the sorting: selection sort, bubble sort, merge sort, shell sort. Many algorithms are there. So algorithms means, okay, by there are different ways to sort that data in the ascending or descending order. So for arranging that entire random sequence data in the sequential manner, we have to follow these sorting techniques and sorting algorithms. So you guys need to write algorithms over there where you have an exist array, you set up a loop, okay, in such a manner, and you follow that algorithm and convert that unsorted array into the sorted elements by exchanging the data among the elements, and you can able to sort them. So this is about the sorting, arranging random data into the ascending or descending sequence, right? Then there is another question asked about the basics of CSS. Now guys, while creating web pages, you are taking help of the HTML tags, right? So to beautify that, okay, now in HTML itself there are some tags to make the heading, okay, and then like a font family and everything. But now if you try to provide the styling to your web pages in this way by using HTML tags, so lot of code you have to write. At the same time, whatever the formatting you did for the page 1, you have to repeat the format same steps in page 2, page 3 and page 4. And in web pages, if these all the web pages are belong to one website, so there has to be the uniformity maintained. Just like in the whenever you go to the college or company, okay, we will wear a uniform, so that like everyone should be look unique sort of. So for maintaining a unique styling for all the entire website, they recommend to go for the CSS. CSS means your web contents will be different in every web page, but the appearance of font, background color, foreground color, the font size, font family, that all styling, formatting settings you are storing in a one file, that is called a CSS file, cascaded styling sheet. The content to once you apply that styling to the entire web page, that entire web page appearance will be look like that. That is called as CSS. So you have to make a collection of like that, all the setting as I told you about the font family, the background color, foreground color, the table styling and all these stuffs, that you accumulate together and that become a CSS. CSS can be applied in the inner way by using a style tags in inner means in every text block you can go with the inner. Internal means there is a in a script you can write in a head section and then you can apply. Otherwise you can create an external CSS, right? CSS file externally, and then in the head section you can specify the link of it, and then in this manner the external styling, that's purpose is how you can make a appearance settings of that entire HTML contents should appear, that you can specify in the CSS, right? So CSS is a cascaded style sheet. It has nothing to do with the contents of the web page. It has to do with the styling appearance pattern of that particular web, and that is what the CSS means. Hope you understand it, right? So I believe these all questions you asked to me. So if you can have any other questions, you can please go ahead and ask me so that I can elaborate further, right? And like guys, you need to make a practice that. Why not you give all more questions of your choice to Rahul, so that like, okay, that I can able to take a time and answer all that queries over there. So I'm asking again, is there is any questions related to this topic today, or any other questions, so that I can take it and explain. And like if nothing, then if there is no questions, then obviously we will end these sessions and proceed further. Do you have any questions, guys? Okay, so thank you very much. I believe you understand all the things well which I try to explain you. And yeah, I always believe the self-exploring techniques will be the most important techniques, because I can take the efforts and make the topic understandable to you, but you should have your own self-exploring techniques works. And and on the Sunday sessions, if you can come up with your own queries prior, so that like I can take that topic of your choice and elaborate the things well. Okay, so I hope you enjoy these sessions. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon.